And well, hello there, folks. It's me, RGB from RJBTV, and we've got yet another edition of Burgersasu against Stork on fastest map in this revenge set between these two players. So far, we've had 2 wins for Burgersasu playing Zerk against Protoss. His Zerk, pretty damn good on fastest map. And which means it's time for game number 3. And we're going to see a little bit of a switch up in game number 3, where we're going back to what they played in the very first set that these two played, for which they are having their revenge match. And that is Protoss for Stork and Terran for Burgersasu. This is a matchup that I think Stork is a little bit better at than at Protoss against Zerk on fastest. Protoss against Zerk on fastest map is a wildly different matchup than a Protoss against Zerk on the normal maps. It's wildly different. Completely different game. But Protoss against Terran on fastest map, now that is kind of the same in my opinion. It's kind of the same. But Protoss trying to break a Terran. Very much the same. Very much the same. You can use a lot of the same strategy. You can do shuttle drops, which people on fastest use, on normal maps use a lot. Like, they go for a fast reaver shuttle with speed, and they fly right into the Terran base, and they abuse the Terran. That happens almost every single Protoss against Terran game at the professional level. And they also go for storm drops on the minerals, which happens on fastest as well. So there's a lot of the same things, and even the frontal pushing strategies from a normal map are kind of similar. It's Dragoons with a range, and then maybe even a Reaver, a Proxy Robo. It doesn't happen a lot, Proxy Robo, but some players still do go for Proxy Robo in PvT on the normal maps. And it also happens on fastest map. But I'm honestly more curious to see what Stork is up to right here. Going for 1 Gateway Gas, and then a Gateway and a Cybercore, and Gateway number 3. I do think that the Gateway's warping a little bit slower than the Cyber Core. Maybe it... I should remember the exact timings. Maybe the timing is the exact same. It looks to me like the timing of a Cyber Core and a Gateway warping in are the exact same. Like, there was a time I studied all of the building times for structures and units, but sometimes I forget the exact timings for some of them. But it does look like they're more or less on the same timer. Cybercore and Gateways have, I think, the same timer. And he's going for Dragoons. Zealots, not going for Dragoons yet. Not yet. He's getting Dragoon range, which means he's going to go for Dragoons after the Zealots. But it's going for Zealots first to put some pressure up on Burgersasu. And going for Zealots first also takes away Burgersasu's ability to go for an attack on the Pro. Because if you go for no Zealots, straight into Dragoons, the Terran has a time window to attack the probes. And Stork, I'm not gonna let it happen, Zealots into Dragoons. Got a bunker coming up there for Burgersasu in the front. We've got gas already finished up. No academy yet, but it's almost finished up there on the top side. And there's no factory coming out yet. Sometimes players go for a factory before they go for marine range. Sometimes to go for marine range before factory. And right here, Burgersasu goes for a factory, marine range before factory, delaying the factory. Once he hits 100 gas, I assume he's going to go for the factory. The Goons are going to be coming out for Stork very soon. He's on double gas at the moment. He's got 20 probes against 19 SCVs there from Burgersasu. He's got double pylon on the top side of his base to make sure that barracks are not going to fly over the hill and run firebats onto those probes. So very important to get the corner vision, or at least vision of the entire base, pretty early on, specifically when you're right next to a Terran. So that's an engineering bay on the way for Burgersasu. No factory on the way yet. He's delaying the factory by quite a lot. He's building a lot of bunkers, but not a lot of marines. He resumed marine production there, though. He resumed marine production. Bunkers are... they should all be filled up once this bunker gets filled up by marines. And marine range finishes up. Dragoons are no longer Yeah, Stork was not expecting the Marine range to be out that fast, but Marine range is out. Marine range is out. Which means Dragoons can no longer push or attack the bunkers because they have the same range. Bunkers with Marines and Marine range upgrade have the same range as Dragoons with range upgrade. So yeah, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to fight there. We've got a robotics coming up right next to the wall, which I'm not sure if that's a great idea. Because Burgersasu can put tanks on this line, and that would put these robos in danger. That would put them in pretty grave danger. Factory's now on the way. No command center there on the way yet for Burgersasu, but he has the money for one, so I do expect one to be coming up right about now. We've got turrets there as well for Dark Templars. I don't think Dark Templars are going to be coming out for Stork. There's no Citadel of a Dune yet. It's being warped in, though, on the bottom side here. He's warping in the Citadel of Dune on the bottom side. He's getting shuttle and support bay. Going for Reavers. Let me just adjust the sound a little bit. Alright, this is what we need. The music was too low, and the digital effects were a little bit too high. So shuttling units across the hill, pretty smart move. Pretty smart move. It's gonna maybe kill a couple of them Marines, not a lot of them though. Evacuates one Dragoon. He's got the Reaver there on the way. Shuttle speed now also being researched. He's got 32 probes, double nexus, 4 gateways, and a Templar Sarkov on the way at the bottom. So Citadel finished up, Templar Sarkov on the way, left one attack there for Zealots also being researched. Whereas we don't have level 1 attack coming up yet for Burgersasu. Commander number 2 almost finished up. He's got siege mode we're researching, and a tank will roll out very soon as well. And he's getting a starport very, very early on. And Reaver is relocating to the front. The tank is not yet out. Siege mode not yet finished up. So he might break through the front here with the Reaver Scarabs arranged at bunkers. Very solid strategy to break those bunkers open and find a way into the base. Burgersasu was expecting a drop on the minerals because everything is here in the back, but the attack actually happening in the front. Stork there with a pretty good move. Pretty good move. He's having trouble firing on the tank there though. Hits some Marines. Tank sieges up. Got to kill those turrets quick. Picks up the Reaver. Micros closer. Shoots on the tank. And the Scarab does get a hit. So one more hit there on the tank, and the tank will go down. Hits the Marines. Huge overkill there on a large group of Marines. And more Marines coming back to the front. Tank gets taken down there by the Dragoons. Reaver there still on the ground. Trying to pick off as many Marines as he can. And Stork here is putting on a really good early game push. I'm impressed. I mean, the guy is a pro player. Legendary pro player. Of course he's going to pull off some sweet moves. Like, the control is really good. He knows his limits, perhaps better than anyone else. He knows the limitations of Protoss against Terran, and he knows of the possibilities of Protoss against Terran. So, very successful break, but he couldn't quite get in to the base itself yet. Burgersasu managed to survive and prevent significant amounts of damage. Picks up Reaver number 2. Wait, is that maybe Reaver number 3? He's got double shuttle. Spells a lot of trouble. Zealots in the mix, ready to unload. Engineering bay, they're on the way on the bottom side to fly onto the hill and provide more vision. Turrets are there already on the scene. Burgersasu now fortifying the front, not really fortifying the back. Although he's pulling some Marines back, he's expecting shuttle drops. Because if a frontal attack wasn't going to happen within like a minute of that other attack that came before it, then of course Stork must be going for a drop. Also already getting a proxy nexus here for more gas on the top side of the map for a proxy base. So Stork is playing this one really solidly. Honestly, this looks more solid than what he did in the very first best of set. And I'm not going to spoil who won that, but Stork pulled off some pretty good moves in that game. Gets a little huge shot on the SCV. Scarab number 2 not connecting. Turret shuttle went down. Reaver's on the low ground. More SCV. He's trying to kill more SCVs, but it looks like he just got tank dropped as well. He just lost probes. I think he got tank dropped. Let me rewind that real quick. Both boys. This has been happening in every single game this week, where a Terran tank drops the Protoss, while the Protoss is dropping the Terran with the Reavers. Let me just fast forward a little bit and find the moment in time when those probes bite the dust. Where is that tank drop? There it is. Let's follow it down. Looking for a way in. Finds a pretty good way in and flies in further. Dropship survives. Can't unload here. Tank will go down too quick. Now the Reaver drop happening, and there on the other side gets the tank on the low ground, starts to shoot, kills 17, and with the other shot, the second shot kills 24 in total. Pretty lucky second shot. So both players, actually, I thought for a moment, like before I knew that the tank drop was happening, I thought Stork just dealt a devastating blow to Burgersasu. But the fact that Burgersasu managed to land a return hit means that Stork is on equal footing. Both players have kind of the same supply. Both players have kind of the same workers, although I must admit Stork has 4 Nexus in total. He's got number 4 there on the way on the bottom, almost finished up. He should be recovering from these economically troubling times rather quick and easy. It should not be too hard for him with double the amount of worker production compared to Burgersasu. Also, as I said earlier, Robo there going down, full attack happening at the same time as well. Is a wide open frontal portion there. Goes right in out to the top side. Gets a great flank there onto the bunker. Storming on the Marines and the tanks in the back. Trying to get out of the way. Another storm comes down, but that storm doesn't really hit too hard. Drop coming in over the top side there. Is this one gonna hit anything? Marines are on the scene, ready to snipe it out of the air. Templars are unloading, and Templars both get sniped by very precise Marine and tank fire. Not allowed to storm all those SCVs. Keeps him alive yet again, but he's falling behind in worker count. While all that was happening, the difference in worker count has grown to 10. 4 Nexus just really shits out units so damn quick. So this game at the moment is in the hands of Stork, to be honest. It's in the hand of Stork. He's in the lead. Not in supply, but economically speaking, he's got the lead. His army is a little bit smaller than Burgersasu, but that's what happens when you're kind of trying to break a Terran. You constantly lose your army as a Protoss. So there will be times where the supply count is going to be equal and even. Gonna try to hit those turrets from across the hill. Smart move. It's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Tank gonna relocate. Turrets will go down before the tank arrives there on the scene though. Got triple temple there on the scene as well to maybe storm across the hill onto the tank. He is building new drops but only has 1 robo. Might have to build a couple more further away from the hill because I think tanks can still hit this support bay. And here on the top side, he's getting a carrier proxy base. There's 2 Stargates already there on the scene, getting double gas, and might get more Stargates as well. I feel that Stork is going to go for his trademark unit, the carrier. He has some of the best carrier play in all of professional Protoss history. Literally, the guy known for carrier micro and carrier control. This is the guy. So I've got some pretty high expectations in regards to what Stork is going to bring to the table with his carrier micro in this game. I've got very high expectations. I mean, the previous time these two played, Protoss against Terran, Stork had some sick, insane carrier micro. Never before seen on the fastest map, I can tell you that. It was legitimately the best carrier control on the channel. That's how good the guy is. And I don't think there's anyone else in the world who has carrier control as good as Stork in that regard. Maybe Bisu? Bisu, maybe. Bisu is known for his micro all around. Goes in over the bottom side. Shuttles there coming in. Templars might unload. Templar doesn't load. Templar gets both. It's a 4 Templar drop. He kills 2. Ooh, the storms are largely not getting dodged. I thought the storms were more successfully being dodged, but he still lost about 20 SCVs. That still hurt him pretty bad. He was not expecting the 4 Templar drop. Neither was I. I was expecting 2, but it was 4 in total. And that did a number on the burger. Which is going to give Stork a lot of time to get that fleet beacon up, get more Stargates, and to transition into carriers. And also, let's look at the upgrades, because we have been ignoring the upgrades. And they are on 1 armor, 0 shield, 1 attack. And he's got a double cyber core, I hope. I can only find 1 cyber core. He might be getting a second one sometime soon, so he's getting armor for air. And I assume that he might already have level 1 armor for air finished up. No, it's level 1 attack for air finished up. So air into... attack into air upgrade. Armor upgrade for air. Correction there. A little correction. He's getting a level 2 armor, level 3 shield. So he's not getting... Wow, I meant weapon. He's not getting shield upgrades. And Burgersasu, for some reason, is feeling like he can go for the attack here, because he probably assumed that Stork lost a lot more money to the tank drop than he actually did, and Burgersasu immediately turns tail when his army gets stormed to death for pretty precise Templar accuracy. Trying to get out of the way. Stork does not go for the attack. He wants to storm first. Cells going in. Templars having trouble breaking through. Storming on a large ball of Marines, and they all do go down. Gets a tank there as well, and a couple Marines getting pulled into the storm. The proxy carrier base now has, I think that's 5 Stargates, getting a Tribunal as well. And he's got a lot more space for about another 10 Stargates in total. We have tanks on the ledge, which are making it difficult for Stork to leave his base. It's only on 9 gateways at the moment. Drop coming over the top side, finds a large open hole, and Marines are kind of mispositioned. Burgersasu responds. SCVs are running away. Templar's on the scene. Templar storms. Templar hits only 3 or 4, so that was a great pull. And he is not quite sure whether there's another storm in there, so he pulls the SCVs yet again. And they're on the middle. Burgersasu attacking the middle, clearing out Stork's army while the drop is happening. And he secures the middle, in my opinion, because with these tanks here, Stork cannot go to the middle. Everything that walks through this pathway is going to take some tank shots to the face. 4, maybe 8, maybe 12. Not quite sure how many shots these tanks can get off. But Burgersasu on the attack. He's on the attack. But I don't think this army is gonna crack the Stork. I don't think so. And he might not be aware of this proxy carrier base that might just come in, hopefully in time, to break his back with a backstab attack. Now that won't be too pretty. EMPs on the Dragoons, misses the Templars, pushing back those Marines into the choke point, where the tanks from across the hill can provide fire support from a long distance. Big drop there being loaded up. There's triple shuttle, triple 4 Corsairs actually. He's getting disruption weapons as well, and an Arbiter on the top side of the map, getting Cyber Core number 2 for double air unit upgrades. Now getting level 2 air upgrade for his carriers. Burgersasu's Marines are dying to the storm so damn quick. He's got 2 upgrades on the Marines, though. They are really strong Marines, but Storm does not care about your upgrades. But the Zealots and Dragoons, though, they are getting minced by those 2-2 Marines. The Storms, though, the Storms are just too damn good. The bunker's being set up. He's got Marines quickly rushing to the top side because he just scanned the top side and saw carriers around the scene, and he wants to arrive on location before the carriers become a big problem. But now we've got an Arbiter there as well, and the Marines, of course, but they don't have detection, so he's going to have to use his scan. And the question becomes, does he have scan energy available? Like, he's now sending everything to the top side to try and kill those carriers before the carriers become a problem. Carriers do have, I assume, some interceptors in them, maybe not. He's trying to run away. He's trying to run away really quick. He's gonna just fly straight over his base. He's gonna go for the attack. And he successfully defends his own base. Stork is doing weird. This is kind of weird from Stork. Not quite sure that was a great move. Just losing 5 carriers like that, where you could have sent them to the left, where they would have been safe and survived, and then flown across the map to his own base. He's getting more games back at home. Drop comes in over the bottom side. SV's not running away. Burgersasu not responding. He doesn't know. There's disruption reps all around. SV's getting blown to bits, but most of them do escape there to the top side. There's an Arcanimics as well. Sadly for Stork, he got close to killing all the SCVs, but only kills about, I'd say, 20. Maybe 15. Somewhere in between. But that could have been way worse for Burger and way better for Stork, but a little bit of RNG just happens to be on the side of Burgersasu. Scarabs not exploding, not killing. That does hurt a little bit. That hurts a little bit. If Stork now back on one single base, didn't bother saving the base on the top side, losing a lot of his probes on the gas. But he's dropping pretty consistently, he's doing the drops really well. Goes in yet again, starts unloading, SCV's running away to the top side, disruption webs on the Marines and the tanks. But the SCVs are too far away to storm on, so he's just going to try to storm on whatever he can. And kill some tanks as well. I think he still has one Templar on the scene, not... everything used their storms. Everything used their storms. The probe here stayed alive. So Stork might try to get another proxy base going if he doesn't run into those Marines by accident, because the probe is too damn fast and the Marines are pretty damn slow. And it turns out the probe stays alive and escapes the 1 o'clock base and goes to, I assume, the 11 o'clock base to try again and build another proxy carrier base and a little bit more gas, because he's going to need gas as well in the future if he wants to go for carriers. Stork is doing a pretty good job building pretty big drops on one single robotics facility, which means he's been saving his shuttles that he sends in and he pulls them back. But one robo is not a lot of robos. Oh, we got 2 more here in the back. Actually, 2 more in the back. Got a new Arbiter Tribunal. Disruption web on the turrets. Every single turret they're getting disruption web arrives on the scene, starts unloading Marines and tanks, and goes everywhere. Doesn't quite get anything within range of the SCVs to kill them. Dark Temple's in the mix. Trying to unload some Zells on top of the SCVs. Tanks and siege, so that's not going to work. Dark Templars, though, killed a lot of Marines. I think they killed about 10 or 20, somewhere in between. But yeah, those Dark Templars got their money's worth. And I think the probe arrived in the top corner, but it died there. So in the end, no probes alive there for Stork. Outside of his own base. Oh wait, it's right here. It's right here. He's going to build a proxy base on the 6 o'clock right next to his main base. And he got some Zealots there being shuttled across to kill the tanks beyond the hill. It's about time Stork started doing that as well. Burgersasu stims in to try and save the tanks, but the tanks largely do go down. And turns back around. No point in losing those remaining Zealots and the shuttle if you cannot actually kill what you're trying to kill. So Burgersasu is low on gas. He's got a couple of SCVs mining gas. A lot of them died during all those drops from earlier. He's got 58 SCVs. He's trying to rebuild his economy, trying to rebuild his army, trying to organize his base as well. Does not have a lot of factories, but he's got maxed out upgraded Marines, which Stork has been dealing with quite well with the storm drops and the storms in general. And now huge storms are across the hill. Trying to clear out that hill to allow him to pass into the middle. That army does get cleared out there though, but he did kill about 10 Marines and 5 tanks. With the drop, definitely worth it. But Burgersasu already pulling additional tanks to the hillside to make sure that Stork is never ever going to walk through that choke point peacefully or easily. Bottom line, it's going to be a struggle. Great storm from across the hill. Got the proxy gateways being built on 6 o'clock. Burger has a Marine there, so you might see it. I think it just got scanned as well. Let me check. Nope, he did not scan it. He did not scan it. Negative. But what I really want to see from Stork here, though, is a proxy carrier base or just Stargates in his main base. He's got a lot of free space here. He has a lot of free space. He's got 9 gateways, another 4 for 13. So that's 18 gateways in total. And 3 robotics. And here's got another 6 or 7 gateways. So should be on 25 sometime soon. Might add on more, might build a lot more. Not sure what he's going to do. But I really just want to see him go for another proxy carrier base. It's difficult at some point in the game to break a Terran with only a ground army. At some point you're going to have to switch over. Specifically against a player like Burgersasu, who is so good at defending. He's been surviving the Stork for 23 minutes so far. Drop comes in across the hill to distract and to kill. We got the Storms there on the Marines and the tanks and a frontal attack happening as well, but there's a lot of tanks and bunkers there, and Marines are splitting up left and right to clear out whatever they can, but also to dodge the Storms and make sure the Storms don't kill groups of Marines all at once. But Stork makes some progress. He's putting pressure onto Burgersasu, breaking through the front, killing the ledge tanks, the tanks on the ledge, killing tanks around the bunkers. He's forcing Burgersasu to defend and not to use his APM for building structures like he's doing right here. He wants to build a lot more factories. He wants to organize his gas, which he is doing at the moment, but he got interrupted by that frontal attack. Stork a little bit low on gas. He's only got 5 assimilators mining. He might have to get 2 more for 7 or maybe even 8 in total. Motor drop that are being prepared, ready going yet again. New tanks being set up on the ledge, on the hillside. We got a probe on the middle, got to build cannons there, I assume, to slow Burgersasu down on his push into the middle. Tanks have sieged up, but no vision across the hill, so the units at the moment can pass through peacefully and easily. And Stork is building a big drop. Not going to go for a drop on the minerals, I assume, but on the tanks here on the bottom corner, right on that ledge. Frontal attack happening. Got 2 Templars in the mix. How much can he kill with those 2 Templars? Dragoons are pushing forward, but the tanks are sieged up pretty far away, and the Marines in between are a great buffer. But the Marines are going to go down. Shuttles are coming in. Shuttles are loading on top of the tanks. Now it's getting ugly. Now it's getting dicey. Now it's getting close to a loss for Burgersasu. Units from the back going to the front. There's a lot of Marines steaming through. A lot of Storms coming down from the skies. Templars doing their job, but maybe might just not be enough. Tanks on the ledge have been taken down. Marines are coming forward. But 1 more Storm left, killing the remaining Marines, with more Marines spawning from those 7 barracks. It's a lot of Marine production, and he's got 7 factories at the moment, building 2 more. Looks like he's going to stay alive for now with his 82 SCVs, allowing him to just produce and produce from every single structure without much ado. So 6 Templars entering the middle. Make it 7. 2 shields there on the scene as well. Rebuilding his army here back at home. He's adding on 1 more gas because he's starting to realize that yes, I might need 6 gas, maybe 7. Because he has 5. And I'll admit, 5 gas in a PvT, sometimes it is enough, but most of the times it definitely is not. Like 7, I think 7 is the sweet spot. 7 gas against a Terran is definitely the sweet spot. Big recall on the top side. He's got arbors on the top side. Goes in for a storm on the SCVs. Most of them do run away. 5 go down. Storming on the gas now as well. Killing turrets on the top side. Opening up a weak spot in Burgersasu's defenses. Tanks repositioning to the top side to take them down. So yeah, Stork is starting to figure out methods of peeling away at the Terran. Recall number 2 comes in. Gonna get right on top of the tanks. EMPs just in time. EMPs just in time. And yeah, he's gonna have to change his attack now. Like, if he got the recall off right there, most of his recall would have died to the tanks pretty much instantly, but he could have killed a lot of tanks at the same time as well. A loaded tank on the ledge, going for another frontal attack. Drop there, comes in over the top side, flies into Marines, trying to dodge the Marines, relocating. What's he gonna do with the shuttles? He's not gonna... He's just gonna storm at the tanks instead of going for the minerals. If you can't break through, let's just storm on something else. And the tanks, they do get killed by the storms, but once again, just not enough army for Stork to break through. And I do think those tanks are on 2-3 upgrades, so they're pretty strong. They do a lot of damage. They do a lot of damage, placing some mines in the choke as well. He's got a lot more factories now. He's got 9 here, 8 here, 2 more for 10, 13 at the moment. It's not a huge number, but considering he's got so many Marines as well, 13 is just the right number. In my opinion, you can do 12, 14, 13, maybe 15, who cares? As long as you can max out quick, you don't need a whole lot more. And he can max out quick with all those Marines and medics. And ghosts as well. So goes in for a frontal attack there. A lot of mines exploding on the Zealots. There's a lot of Marines there killing the Zealots as they get close. Tanks in the back providing support. Shuttle drop there in the air. A loading Templar is going to storm. Gets locked down. Ghost in the front. Cloaked up. Hunting for the Arbiter. Gets the Arbiter smart move there. It gets both Arbiters. And the shuttle. All the shuttles, actually. So that was a pretty good move there from Burgersasu. It looks like Stork is going to need observers, and he is, in fact, making observers. So that's going to be on the map very soon to deal with the mines and to deal with the ghosts. Storming that tank army as he tries to push out. Now is the time where Burgersasu becomes a scary Terran. He's almost maxed out on Terran upgrades for ground and air, which means his fighting force is stronger than the Protons. He's going to take some crafty and creative moves from Stork to break Burgersasu. Another thing he's going to need is drops. Also a smart move here from Stork to just cannon up this side to kill the turrets there across the hill. While he's waiting for his army to rebuild. Storms are doing such a great job slowing down this push into the... That's a recall. Small one, but it's a recall. And he kills the tank on the ledge, but does not do a whole lot more damage than that. Couldn't get a lot of turret kills. The cannons, though, are killing a lot of turrets. Pretty quick at that as well. New tanks, again, being placed on that ledge. This ledge has been a pain, a thorn in Stork's side this entire game so far. Look at those units just dying as they walk through, taking critical amounts of damage as they're just trying to walk through a pathway. Pretty painful experience. How is Stork gonna solve this problem? So yet again, another attack. Templars are loading. Tanks cannot dodge the storm, so the tanks are taking some pretty big hits from those storms, to be honest. And Stork might now actually be making some real progress as he kills most of the tanks. Well, maybe I was cheering a little bit too early. He still has about 5 or 6 tanks, and more are spawning very soon as well. Dragoons are staying at a distance at the moment, outside of 10 range. He's getting rates in the air as well. Although I don't think the rates can do a whole lot here. This proxy gateway base is slowly growing bigger, getting a couple more gateways there on the scene. He's continuing to make arbiters from the stargates he has available here, there on the bottom, and right here at the proxy base. So 2 stargates, 4 arbiters. Shuttle drop there in the mix as well. Burgersasu is rounding out his army with vultures. Not going for Goliaths, he's going for vultures. I personally like Goliaths, but Goliaths actually not that great against ground. They're kind of just against air, they are really good. But ground, a little bit lackluster. Drop over the top side. He's got the raids there, somewhere, right here. The raids are going to snipe. The raids are going to snipe the shuttles. Stork trying to go in for the top side, everything in full vision. Shuttles are loading, shuttles trying to storm on the raids, but the raids run away. They do take some hits though. They do take some hits, but nothing that is honestly that significant. I'm trying to click with my mouse pad and it's not letting me click. As you can see, yeah, okay, they took some damage. They took some damage. The army there waiting, lying in wait. Stargate proxy base. Gateway proxy base, that's 8, 13, and it's a triple Stargate. Dragoon's on the way to save the probe. Probe might go down, but you know, the probe going down, not really a big problem. You can just send a new one, as long as the Stargates don't go down. Burgersasu is recovering and remaxing his army. His economy is in a great place. So likewise for Stork, very, very rich. Cannons all over the place. Those raids, if they ever plan on going for an EMP Nexus attack, it's definitely not gonna work. Marines there scouting ahead and also sacrificing themselves for more supply space. Kind of a grim story, but that's StarCraft. StarCraft has a lot of grim and dark moments. Engineering base on the hill, barrack on the hill. Raid's dancing. He's waiting for something to come through the air, but Stork is waiting for Burgersasu to move out. Both players are kind of waiting for the same thing. They're waiting for a counterattack. They want to be the person to counterattack, but if neither of the two players attacks, that counterattack is never going to happen. So at some point we might see one of the two players pull the trigger and decide to just go for the fight. But which of the two is it going to be? Shuttle's getting sniped out of the air by the Wraiths. Great Wraith control. I just saw it. Barely almost missed it. But the Wraiths showing their value, showing their worth by sniping them shuttles out of the air, protecting the SCVs. He's got a second command center hanging on top of his main command center. It makes it harder to click on it. Not sure if I can click on it. Yeah, maybe if I was in a game itself, I might be able to do it, but right now I can't click on it. I just can't. Which is the purpose of that command center, to stop you from clicking on it. We got the huge Stargate proxy base with a lot of cannons. We've got Corsairs entering as well. Corsairs, of course, going to try to hunt down those Wraiths and kill them. We've got Scout Speed on the way and level 3 attack and level 3 armor. I thought he already finished those two upgrades, but it turns out that 35 minutes in, even Stork forgot to finish his upgrades. But they're almost done, so nothing to worry about, to be honest. So yeah, goodbye barracks. It's all factories now. The barracks all went here to the top side. A lot of vision being provided by those barracks. He's got about, I'd say, 6, 12, 14, another 9, 23. He's got 27 factories. That's a lot of factories, a lot of production. Disruption is coming down. He's got the stasis as well. Tanks escaping, running back. Wraiths in the air. EMPs on the Arbiter. No stasis on the Wraiths. Gets EMP on the Corsairs as well. And Stork could not make a whole lot of progress there. But he did prevent and did stop Burgersasu from pushing into the middle, which is honestly at this point the most important thing. Making sure Burgersasu is not taking control of the middle, because once a Terran has control over the middle, the game is just in favor of the Terran, without a doubt. It's possible to still win as a Protoss, but the odds become smaller and smaller. Great storms once again. I've said it many times before, but the storms are on point. The storms are... My voice is breaking down. I need something to drink. Oh my god! I realized as I was casting this game that the drink that I picked does not give the feeling that your thirst has been satiated. So yeah, I picked the wrong drink. I still feel thirsty, and I've just drank like 500 milliliters of it during this entire cast. So half a liter. And I still feel thirsty. So yeah, never buying this one again. As Burgersasu pushes into the middle, he killed a lot of his own SCVs to get more army supply. He's gambling on the big army gambit. 47 SCVs, taking control over the middle, pushing to that proxy base as well. Drop there comes in, you got a stasis. Ooh. Couldn't quite get in there. He was trying to recall, but the thing with Arbiters and Corsairs is that the Arbiter does not... The Arbiter gets targeted by the turrets, not the Corsairs. So if you want to escort an Arbiter in with Corsairs, that's not going to work. The Arbiters take the damage, not the Corsairs. Pushing into the middle. This might be a little bit of a difficult one to push through. Recalls on top of the tanks. That's a great recall. More units coming from the base, entering the middle. Going to clear this out. So even though we got a great recall on top of the tanks, great stasis on the raids. Obliterating the tanks. Tanks force the micro away. Vessel in the air, they're in the back. Observers on the scene to detect mines. Luckily, no mines at the moment. But I do see some vultures in the mix. And after that army gets killed, let's look quickly at this Stargate proxy base. A lot of cannons in the mix as well. It's got about 10 Stargates in total. Tanks across the hill, once again, being an absolute boner killer for Stork. Trying to enter the middle, trying to just slide right in there. Not allowed to do so. He's got some solid protection on him there. Some solid protection on those sides. He's gonna need carriers for sure. He's going to need carriers, otherwise he's gonna lose the game within the next 10 minutes or so. Carriers are what he needs. A lot of Goliaths on the scene though, and he's got some ghosts in the mix here back at home as well, and he's building a couple more ghosts. So he might be planning on going for lockdowns, and he knows the Stargate proxy base exists. Scouts are on the way. It's gotta be scouts. Yes, scouts. Not carriers. Scouts. That's something I didn't expect to be seeing. He's getting scout speed, scout vision range as well. And a couple Stargates are on the side getting attacked and going down. Tanks here on the ledge make sure and ensure that Stork cannot comfortably leave his base to save his proxy bases. The proxy bases might just go down and die and never be rebuilt. Burgersasu pushing through, focusing on the pylons first to depower all the gateways. You know, the top side doing the same thing, going for the cannons and the pylons. Got the scouts on the scene. If we get any more of them, I'm gonna make a screenshot of them. Actually, I'm gonna do it right now. Okay? Gotta go for the screenshot. It's some. I mean, scouts, they always look cool. Like, maybe this is some false advertising because these scouts are not gonna do a whole lot. But if you put them in the thumbnail, people are gonna be interested because they never ever see scouts. So I've been lying to you. I've tricked you into clicking on the video by using the scouts. Oh, clickbait. Clickbait scouts. Yeah, the scouts are not doing a whole lot. Goliaths are coming in to kill them, and they do so pretty easily. The scouts just don't do a lot of damage to ground. Moving into the middle, trying one last time. I think this might be the last attempt. Almost all the Stargates are dead and gone. Scouts, they were in the game for like 30 seconds, and they're already dead and gone. 30 seconds of use out of those scouts. I mean, he did not have enough time to get the carriers anymore, so scouts were probably the only option still left. Shuttle coming in, raids on the hunt, unloads preemptively, storming on whatever he can. It's largely tanks and Goliaths. Raids are dancing, looking for something to kill, but there's nothing to kill for them at the moment. Burgersasu defending himself really solidly and still has 10,000 minerals left in the bank. He is rich because he's not losing a lot of his tanks. He's rich and he doesn't have to spend his money, so he's going to get richer and richer and richer. Scans going down there from Burgersasu. Let's see what he scanned on the map. So this choke section of Stork's base and this proxy base. And he sees that there's not a whole lot left, so it's time to go for the game-ending push. Burgersasu is going to get himself a third win, most likely, because I don't see how Stork is going to survive this push. There's a chance he's going to survive, but the chance is small. It's a slim chance. Comes in there, raids dancing, snipe the observer, vessel in the air. No EMPs, storming on the tanks, but the tanks dodging the storm so they don't all die to it. The raids, they do take some real big damage there though. The raids took some bigger damage, but who cares about the raids at this point in the game? Burgersasu got money, he's got vessels, he's got tanks, he's on the roll, he's breaking into Stork's base. Tanks sieging up in a beautiful line on the top side. Arbiter there, trying to get in, trying to get a stasis. Gets a pretty good stasis there on the backside. The Templars on the scene. Misses that one storm there, though. That army gets cleared out pretty quick and easily. More units coming in from the bottom side. but I don't think this is going to cut it. I don't think this is going to do it. Not for Stork, not today. Burgersasu's got it all in the palm of his hand. And he's got some Dark Templars coming in to help from across the hill. But with a Vessel in the air, I don't think that's going to do a whole lot for him, though. Yep, coming in. But Corsair Arbiter in the back. Arbiter getting sniped. Corsair trying to kill the Vessel, but the Vessel is pretty tanky at this point in the game, and one single Corsair not gonna kill it. It stays alive with very little HP, but the tank's hitching up in the middle of all those gateways. Stork recognizes it's a GG, calls GG. That's win number 3 there for Burgersasu in game number 3 of this Revenge Best of set. Burgersasu took his time here though. Like, Stork was holding him back for 40 minutes, but after 40 minutes, Burgersasu was uncontrollable. Too big, too strong, could no longer restrain him and hold him back. Stork is going to have to do a whole lot of winning in the next few games if he wants to win this Revenge set. So far, Burgersasu is in the lead. The odds are in his favor.